lepeng bu bulatato jai dingin nasalan musala ko de ingman ko akotokela ama kata longelo butni tete im lo kolera logon awaya be kata songenana logon ro rogdo ko banginot tete im lo kolera logon awaya lo alo but keti uyo kana ngotuling logon ko nagon ko kinga geleng ko de kinga jinjore morja ngoto wate nagon napiga ko kerijeki bubule wojo ngilo tete im lo kolera logon awaya nyenagon tete im lo kolera logon awaya lo tigbe titiki ngoto logon kode nagon Akile kode amoka kolera keti mwajig lupudie logon ako durekin ko kinga geleng titiki nyilo tete im tuduluki keti kata ko tupe simorek tupe to geleng ko tupe to morek tikido anyen togo iuringit inot ite ya na kolera tupe to morek tiki ikide na jomalan morek ko iya pala bokier imu kagna tupe to geleng nyina tupe to geleng ro rogdo to joko yapala bokier keti tupe to morek na rorogdo ko kingajin musala tete im lo kolera lo waya lo rorogdo ko kuliati bulue siti kolera keti toto ko digiwere na kolera ko kulengoto ilanget bendo ko jarani wojo na tete imi dingin nagon ko tete im lo kolera lo waya konani kona kunu dijur yeye jiadi moju imu kagnagondo aje woju tete im anabot nagon anyendo to kita jokelan nabot keti tipiritino be anake tokele toke piong kunong namemete anake dingitan ling dongoni ipiri dongoyet bendo ko dongo kango iterere lalane lala kenisi kulo ko piong nake ko sobun ke gapari kingerot nagondo ako nyesukinyo ko imu kegna pondia inor kango ipiri dongoyet keti kodo ko delelengo to logondo deden kata ko esi ti kolera meddi kato kelanit dedekije kodo ko delelengo to konu di bangko de ilanget kata ko esi ko bulu siti kolera jongelonge dede kijege kadina wini nagon nyona teki katokelanit kode duma lo langet anyen nyilongo tu woju ngaret tokelet kodo yenga dendia longyo jore peje wazara na kelan kolonga longi ni mirale kang lokana bokier dangini ngwan lolonge jakita ko wazara na kelan ko ngaret na WHO UNICEF ko julin
for reliable and objective news from across South Sudan and beyond. You are listening to iRadio, bringing you programs that offer you an in-depth look at the issues that affect you. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
The Dawn on iRadio.
Yes, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second hour of the Dawn program here on iRadio, live broadcast from the capital Juba. I'm your host Emmanuel Joseph Akile, and today is Thursday, the 14th of August 2025, coming to 15 minutes now after the hour of 7. Today, let's talk about federalism, which is a system of government where power is divided between a central authority and constituent political units like states or provinces. Now, this division of power ensures that both the central government and the regional units have their own spheres of authority and can govern independently on certain matters. Now, the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement did not stipulate what type of federalism should be adopted in South Sudan. But then in February 2023, the Extraordinary Council of Ministers meeting chaired by President Salva Kiir passed a federal policy document and the Strategic Plan 2022-2025 of the Ministry of Federal Affairs. Now, the federal policy provides a guiding tool that has the principal direction for the federal system that South Sudan is expected to adopt during the constitution making. Now, the document also highlighted the principle of federalism, such as the devolution of administrative powers, political organization and arrangement within the federal system, and the physical aspect of federation, such as resource distributions at a different level of government. Now, according to the Minister of Federal Affairs, that is Losuba Loduro Wongo, his ministry planned to hold a national conference on federalism that will bring participants from the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas. Now, the conference will discuss and give guidance on what to be included in the federal constitution and address misconceptions surrounding federalism. Now, under, for instance, a federal presidential system of government, the president serves both as head of state and head of government, while the country keeps the current setup of the national government, where there are 3 main branches: the executive, legislative, and judiciary. However, instead of centralizing power with the national government, the country could have individual states with their own federal legislature and state governments. Under this model, national concerns would be addressed by the federal government under the president. Now, these include national security, monetary policy, and foreign relations, among others. Domestic or state issues, meanwhile, will be handled by the government. But then in many parts of the country, people are actually suggesting that the country should adopt a cooperative federal system in the country. So on Tuesday, I sat down with the Minister of Federal Affairs, Losuba, and he reaffirmed that South Sudan would transition into a federal system of government at the end of the transitional period. Now let's listen to our conversation.
I actually take note of the issue of sensitivity on the issue regarding federal system of government. I think it's too much to say it's sensitive, but the fact is that this is about governance, and the governance is very crucial in as far as a nation building is concerned, and in as far as peace and stability of a country is concerned, because you actually need to have a structure of a government that devolve powers and resources to the local population. And once the local population have available services that they actually need, and then you will realize peace and stability, and you realize development and prosperity, as we have always stipulated as our goal for the Republic of South Sudan. So I think the issue of sensitivity is that there are some voices who are concerned about how powers can be devolved to the lower constituent units, like the states and the local government, which is very crucial, because people have been used to maintain power in Juba or in the central government, and that is sensitive to some people. But in general, the population of the South Sudanese are eagerly visited a number of states. I've not visited all of them because of challenge of financial constraints, but the states that I've visited were very positive, very, very positive, and they said this is what they wanted. And I think it is the only system that will bring peace and stability and the prosperity for the Republic of South Sudan.
And so tell us, how far has your ministry reached with the nationwide consultation regarding the federal system of governance in the country as required by the revitalized peace agreement?
Well, the ministry had a plan, had developed a strategic plan with the clearly stipulated activities that would help the ministry realize its main objectives. And also, I would like to also recognize that His Excellency the President, when we had the meeting with him initially to seek his advice, he was very clearly to me that, Minister, you need to have some comparative studies with the countries that are federal, so that we learn from their challenges and then learn from how they make the federal system work effectively. And then so that we can also learn what type of a federal system would be appropriate for the people of South Sudan. And the second thing he also directed me was that it is important to educate the people of South Sudan, and that is the component which His Excellency directed me for, and that's why we designed the plan to visit states, and also our plan was even to visit counties, so that we explain to the people and then share this information to the people, so that they are aware of what when we talk about federal system, they should be able to know what it is actually. So so far we have done some studies with the federal countries, and we also did visits to the states. Of course, we didn't cover the whole country, but at least through radio talk shows and then sometimes the television and all that, we have tried to explain to the people to understand that. The other important component which the ministry is strongly undertaking is to ensure that the federal system has to be reflected, has to be in the permanent constitution. We have a revitalized agreement stating clearly that the formation of the government, which is to implement the agreement, it has to end the transition by establishing the permanent constitution. And the permanent constitution, one of its key components is this constitution must be a federal constitution. And once we have the federal constitution, and then it will usher the people of South Sudan to have free, fair, and credible elections. So for that reason, the ministry designed, we worked out on a plan to convene a national conference on federalism. And but then the national conference on federalism, the ministry, after all the studies that we have done, we felt that we have already produced a federal policy, which is already passed by the parliament. Now the ministry worked on a blueprint, which actually outlined the structure, and the design, and the components of what a federal system would look like. And we thought that it would be good that during the conference, the national conference, people discuss some of the elements that are the components that are in the blueprint. So far the ministry have completed the blueprint, and is now under printing and all that, which is already out. And we're waiting if the conference will be there and people will share it. But for the time being, people start now. We'll start sharing it with the public, so that people know what type of a federal system we wanted to see in the Republic of South Sudan.
Right. And now, based on public views, on your consultations in some parts of the country and in the states, so what kind of federalism do people want? I mean, you've been interacting with them directly, so how would you describe the type of federalism that it's a kind of a popular demand by the people of South Sudan? I understand this is not going to be the final decision. You're not the one to make the decision, but based on your interaction with the people on the ground, what do they want? Which kind of, what type of federalism are they talking about? Or maybe you can even tell us the types of federalism that are available for us here in the country that we can adapt.
Well, I think it is something that a number of people always have been asking. If you look at the federal policy, which is passed by the parliament, it is stated very clearly what type of federal system that we are adopting. We are not going to adopt a tribal or ethnic or some federal system that will create more division and all that. But we wanted to reflect the realities that are stipulated in the revitalized peace agreement, that we need a federal system that reflects the realities of the people of South Sudan. So South Sudan is a diverse country in terms of ethnic disparities and all that. And South Sudan is highly diverse in terms of its geography. Even the livelihood differ from one area to another, from one state to another. So the type of federal system that we wanted is that which can hold us together and strengthen our unity. And specifically with the different types of federal system, we actually realize that you can name it. You can have what I call dual system, cooperative system, and others. But then the most important, after our studies, after the ministry studies and all that we have done, and given the realities of the people of South Sudan, we wanted a cooperative type of federal system for the people of South Sudan. A system that actually different levels of government can be able to cooperate, not working independently as far as a dual federal system was concerned. So we do not want so much a dual system whereby states or the local government, like the counties, becomes completely independent, but they should be able to cooperate between different levels of government. So that is the type of federal system that we as a ministry have recommended, and is the best system for the Republic of South Sudan.
And now, after the consultation, when do we expect the conference, let's say, to be held at the national level?
You know, the conference had been, it's a project that I presented in the cabinet, the Council of Ministers, and it was approved since 2023. And we actually should have conducted it since that time, before even December of 2023. Unfortunately, due to lack of funding from the Ministry of Finance, we were unable to conduct it. And some partners have expressed views that they can be able to support, but then they wanted the support from the government first, and then from there they'll move forward to support the conference. Now, the conference, we actually still hope that it will be done. The idea of the conference is basically to bring governors and to bring some specific institutions from the states, like the ministers of finances, the minister of local government, so that they have an idea what it means. Because when we're talking about federal system devolving powers, these are key institutions that need to know their roles, and then also service ministries, so that they know that at the federal level, you should be able to know what your role is. You should not be able to interfere with the states, because the states are the implementing institutions, and then also the local government, the county level. So we expected commissioners as well, and then also executive directors in the county level, so that all of us should be able to be in the same wavelength in terms of understanding what the federal structure would look like, and then how it will usher in peace and stability, and effectively move this country to a prosperous development.
So there's no specific date, like when it's going to happen. It requires, it boils down to the issue of resources. That's what
Sure, yeah, it basically boiled down. We have actually done all the plan, and everything is in place, only that we do not have the funding.
And now the content of the blueprint, what does it entail? What is inside there, and when are we expecting this to be disseminated to the people of South Sudan in general?
Well, it's actually the blueprint is very clear, because the blueprint actually gives you the outline of the design and the structure, and also the components of the federal system that will be enshrined in the constitution, and then will be for the people of South Sudan. Now, when you look at the blueprint, you have basically basic information as to the background. What we're talking about, the background of the why the people of South Sudan wanted a federal system of government in the Republic of South Sudan, and that's what the blueprint first tried to explain to the people. There's the historical background of South Sudan, and then why he wanted a federal system, and then it also outlines the federal structure, how it looks like, and also it outlines the institutional design of the federal system, that which will look like in the constitution. And there's also another chapter that is dedicated to power sharing arrangement, in terms of how powers will be shared from the federal government, the state government, and the counties. And then one of the chapters is also dedicated to revenue and fiscal federalism. So how do we share revenues from different levels of the three levels of the government? And then another chapter also we have dedicated to intergovernmental relationship, which actually address the issue of the type of federal system. That's why we said the best type of a federal system we wanted to see in the Republic of South Sudan should not be ethnic, but should be cooperative, a cooperative type, so that people cooperate. So that's why the intergovernmental relations is very, very essential. A chapter is dedicated to that. And we have also a chapter that actually highlights key institutions and resources related to effective function of federal system. Now, in that, we talk about, we highlighted basic human rights for the federation. We also talk about the structure of the capital city, and then of the federal republic. And then we talk about Federal Character Commission, which is very crucial. We highlighted that because it is that which will balance the issue of employment and the involvement in public offices and all that, we need a federal character commission, because so that we have the resemblance of all South Sudanese in any institution and all that. And we also highlighted issues on how youth can contribute in the development, the national youth services and all that. How does it look like in the federal system? We talked about that. And then also we highlighted issues about language and then land, resources, states, counties. We talked about also law enforcement, which is very crucial in the different levels, and then military. A question that will remain for the Constituent Assembly, which will be reconvened after the development of the Constitution, will be the issue of nomenclature. The nomenclature is the name of the republic. Whether people would like to change the name to become like Federal Republic of South Sudan or Republic of South Sudan or whatever. For me personally, I think the issue of the nomenclature is not very crucial, because you can still have the Republic of South Sudan, which is federal. So there are countries that change, that wanted to reflect that in their name.
Yeah, but like Ethiopia, for example.
Yeah, Ethiopia did that, and then also Nigeria and others. But then we go to other countries, they actually
They
don't
have
reflect
federal
their
system,
names.
but then they don't have to mention the
exactly.
countries.
So that is not very important for us, but that is important. We also highlight in the blueprint, and we say that the National Constitution Review Commission will debate on that, and they bring that to the public, and particularly to the Constituent Assembly when they will sit to discuss about the Constitution.
Right. And Honorable Minister, what happens to this process? Because it has been delaying, and I understand resources one of the main challenges or hindering this process to conclude. What happens if the country goes for elections in December 2026 as agreed upon by parties to the revitalized peace agreement? What happened to all this process before it can conclude, and then we go for elections? Where do you see the future of all this process if we go for elections before it concludes?
No, I think we have now concluded everything. As far as the ministry is concerned, the role of the ministry is we have actually done what is requested, and we have actually met what we call the objective of the ministry in terms of now having a blueprint, and the conclusion is supposed to have the conference. But now that in an event that there will be difficulties in conducting the conference, and we still wanted the elections to take place, we can only go to the election once we have the permanent constitution. We actually need a permanent constitution. The permanent constitution is the one that will give the elections a headway. So having said that, I think I don't see any difficulties, because 2026 is not very far, but still we have enough time actually to produce the constitution, which is a federal constitution. We have enough time for that.
And also, based on your observation, I also want you to share with us your assessment, Honorable Minister, on the political will to adapt the federal system of governance. You went to the states, you interacted directly with the people, but also you sit at the high table at the national government here in Juba. So how would you assess the political will for the country really to adopt this federal system of governance here?
The political will is very high. I have to say that, because in any country you need, first of all, the head of the state, who is the president, is one who you can gauge the political will from, and the president was very clearly that we need to implement the federal system and all that. I think the only fear sometimes are individual who have negative views and all that, and given the fact that the definition of the word federal system in the Republic of South Sudan did not start now, but it started a long time ago. So there were also a misinterpretation of the word itself, where sometimes they call me sometimes Kokora, Minister of Kokora, Minister of Kokora and all that. So you see, it has been there. So this kind of dissent views and all that, I've interacted with a number of them, and they're very positive in terms of understanding what a federal system is all about. The problem is just misunderstand the misconception of the terminology, which His Excellency the President made very clear to me. He said, there's misconception. There are some people who do not understand and misinform the public. So that's why he actually recommended that it's important for me to educate the people and interact with the people, and that is the reason why the issue of sensitization and all that came out very strongly in our strategic plan. We have tried to do that, but of course, due to lack of funding and the challenges of resources, we were not able to go to all the states as we had planned earlier. But my assessment and with all what we have done, it's very clear that the people of South Sudan all actually are for a federal system of government. And His Excellency the President has been very clear on that. And we're happy. I was actually so motivated when I had a meeting with him, and he actually encouraged me to get this done.
Right.
Yeah.
And finally, Honorable Minister, what role can media play also to support the ministry, or in general in regard of disseminating or fighting this disinformation and misinformation about federalism, and the importance of the coordination between the ministry and stakeholders, and also the media, to ensure that public receive this information correctly and accurately?
Yeah, I will say that that is a very, very important question and a very important concern. I think we have not done much in terms of sensitizing the public, and also using the media in order to educate the people about the federal system. And there are challenges away. And as I said, we had some challenges which of course need to be overcome. Now I will really recommend that we have the federal policy which was passed by the parliament, which is already out, a public document. I think the most important thing is to have this to the public domain, and then also now that we have the blueprint, it will be in the public, so that this is the document that will guide the people, so that we avoid misconceptions, because the biggest challenge that the ministry realized was the misconception of the term federal system. So there are people who actually misplace the word and then have different interpretation on that, and to achieve their personal interest and all that. But then when you look at the word itself and then what it means, it is for the benefit of the people, and the people actually like it. That's why I said, when I went to states and I went to a number of occasions and explaining to them what a federal system is all about, and then also the structure of the federal system, the design and all that, they are very positive. And I have to tell you one thing. I went to Northern Baragazal, and then I had a paramount chief. After explaining, the paramount chief stood up and told us that, if that is what you are saying, that's what we wanted here, so that we develop. So you see that kind of, it is just misinformation. There are people who sometimes go around and then telling people it's Kokora, and then has a negative connotation of what Kokora is all about. But the reality is that this is a system which actually devolves powers and resources, so that resources are not only consumed in the capital city, not only consumed in the state cities. It has to go. These resources have to go to the to the counties, and the counties, not only the counties, towns, but then it has to go to the Payams, and then go to the Bomas. So we need to have schools, good schools in those areas, not only having it in Juba. So
and
I think
that's even the idea of
taking
system. Town to the people.
Excellent. That's what actually late Dr. John Gereng was emphasizing, that we wanted a country whereby instead of villagers or people from the villages coming to town, the rural-urban migration, we must turn that to have urban-rural migration, which is taking towns to the villages, to the people. So it is very important to know that. So that is where people, I think the media can play a very critical role in that.
نعم، ده كان هناك لصوبا، وهو وزير بتاع الشؤون الفيدرالية، وكان بيتكلم معي أول امبارح هنا في العاصمة جوبا عن بعض من النشاطات اللي بتقوم به وزارة بتاع الفيدرال افيرز او الشؤون الفيدرالية. وطبعا الفيدرالية ده نظام بتاع حكم بيقسموا فيه السلطة بين سلطة مركزية ووحدات سياسية مكونة زي الولايات أو المقاطعات، وبيضمن التقسيم للسلطة أنه يكون لكل من الحكومة المركزية والوحدات الإقليمية نطاقات بتاعت سلطة خاصة به، وأنه يتمكن من الحكم بشكل مستقل في بعض المسائل. طبعا اتفاقية السلام المنشط بيتكلم عن انه لازم انه جنوب السودان حيكون عنده النظام الفيدرالي، وده طبعا في نهاية بتاع الفترة الانتقالية، لكن ما حدد ياتو نوع من النظام الفيدرالي. بيجيبنا لحوالي 19 دقيقة لرأس الساعة، ده الوقت اللي فيه نرفع المكالمات للتعليقات بتاعك موضوع بتاع النظام الفيدرالي في جنوب السودان. اتصل علينا على ارقامنا. اي راديو سليمان، تفضل.
يا ما جزاك الله خير. كيف طبعا تعرف ايش المسألة هي؟ طبعا الاثنين انا ما بدرزم، انا ما حضرت يعني بدرزم زمان السودان، بدرك خلال بقول السودان كان دولة فدرالية طبعا، لكن طبعا على حسب التحليل بتاعي ولا حسب مشاهدة بتاعنا للدول الفدرالية نسبة في استثناء يعني زي ماشيين على سبيل المثال زي اثيوبيا مثلا. اثيوبيا يعني شغال بفكرة اثيوبيا يعني تقريبا يعني في كل يعني جزء في اثيوبيا. تمام؟ عشان كده يعني احنا ثلاث مجالس الناس كلهم كويس لما ترى لكن السؤال البسيط هل كان يعمل نفسه على ارض الواقع ولا لا؟ سامع الاثنين انا جاي اتكلم هذا لأن تطبعته من قبل الحكومة كان موجود في السلام المنشط بتاع 2018 كان بتاعي وين السلام المنشط تنفيذه ماشي بالضبط. أنا متأكد ذلك تنفيذه بس ما عشان الناس المشاركين في القضية عندها كل المستقلين أي زمن بدي يعني تقريبا ماشي نهار كان تفكير ماشي نهار ما نقدر تقدر ما بيعمل نفسه بعدين إذا بتسمع الروح للشعب بتاعنا بيقول يتم التنسيق بتاع معناه بالتقسيم بتاعنا كلام في ناس بيقول نفسه بتاع فدرالية السودان معناه نظام الفقرة، لكن ده كان يوم فالحكومة اختنوا بدي حل بتاع جنوب السودان
شكرا لك لانه الشبكه هنا قاعد انقطع، رسالتك وصل. اي راديو. نعم نعم، ده كان فرانكو هناك لكن الشبكه انقطع. اتصل علينا تاني وقدم تعليقك. اي راديو.
الو
يس
إمانويل جسمك كده.
نعم
انا كوشوك مرتان.
كوشوك تفضل معنا.
اخوي انا بشكر لاسوبا وانغو وبشكر يعني اتفاقية سلام، بالرغم من اتفاقية سلام اصلا ما في زول بيشتغل به، واهم بنوده طبعا بنود البند الترتيبات الامنيه والفدراليه دي طبعا ناس شايفينه ممكن او تخلي جنوب السودان بطلع لبرلمان، لكن في ناس ما دايرين انه الكلام ده يحصل. اخي العزيز فدراليه دي حاجه كويس، كده شوف من بلاد اللي فيه فدراليه جيران عندنا في السوري يعني بلد مستقر وما فيه مشاكل، فدراليه ماشي كويس. الامريكا 50 ولايات 50 ولايه في امريكا بدير نفوسهم بالفدراليه، وسلطه يعني ما في زول ثاني بشكل السلطه والتنميه ماشي بصوره كويس زي ما كان نشوفها يو اس ايد، يعني في امداد وفي دعم لكل الدول في العالم. امريكا بيده لها يعني بايد بتاعه كويس، والناس عارفين ده انه الفدراليه كويس. للجنوبيين ان الفدراليه ده حكم امثل. اذا نحن خشينا في الفدراليه بكون في تنميه كويس في الولايات. السلطه هسه قاعد تقرر في جوبا هنا يعني حتى درجه المحافظ بعينه بقرار، وفي تنميه في مقاطعات وما في تنميه في ولايات. اخي العزيز انت جنوبي فدراليه يبقى الحظ بتاعك، انت عندك مويه بتاعك، عندك سمك بتاعك، عندك لولو، عندك شنو، ده بيكون عندك يعني انت بتستخدمه وتزرع كويس وتعمل تنميه في المنطقه بتاعك. دور ده في نسبه بسيط بيجيبون في جوبا هنا عشان يدعموا الوزراء، عشان يدعموا الجيش الوطني. طبعا الشرطه بتكون شرطه فدراليه، الشرطه بتكون عندك هنا من بلدك يعني اولاد قريه يا بكونوا في البوليس هناك بيشتغلوا هناك، سجون والولايه بيكون عندك هناك كويس. هنا بكون السلطه يقدر يستمتع بالسلطه بتاعه، لكن حيمنا هنا في جوبا هنا اخي العزيز عشان لا نطلع من المازق نطلع من مشاكل في جنوب السودان حكم الفدرالي حكم الامثل، ومتاكد بكون في مضايقه لان الناس ما دايرينه، الناس اللي في جوبا هنا ما دايرين السلطه الفدراليه عشان السلطه يكون في ايديهم عشان يشيلوا بترول يجيبونه في جوبا، يجيبوا ذهب من كوفيتا بيجيبوا جوبا هنا، وما في دواء، ما في مستشفى، ما في تعليم. انتهينا حدنا في صراع كل يوم. يعني بعض بيقولوا في انتقاليه، كل يوم انتقاليه تام 100 سنه ولا 10 سنه، ومعروف شعب جنوب السودان ما بدون مستقبل، بدون استقرار. استراليا حكم الامثل. السلام عليكم.
Alright, عليكم السلام. رسالتك واصل كشوق راديو.
لا
Yes.
كيف؟ السلام عليكم.
معنا منو؟
بيتر حي بركة.
بيتر اتفضل.
أنا بنتكلم في شنو الصباح اليوم؟
تكلم في موضوع بتاع الفيدرالية. اسمع الراديو أول قبل ما تتصل بس سنبل ساكت. راديو.
إيمانويل كيف؟
نعم.
معك أستاذ مجوق.
أستاذ مجوق اتفضل.
تهيأ يا أخوي، شكرا لحوارك مع ضيفك العصوبة وزير الفدرالي. أنت عارف إيمانويل، طبعا النظام الفدرالي ده في العالم ده النظام بيوفر الحقوق لكل شعب. طبعا نماذج كثيرة جدا في افريقيا، زي ما اخوي كشف ضرب مثال مع اثيوبيا، وبرضه عندك نيجيريا. النظام الفدرالي ده بعمل تنمية كويس، بدل ما الحكم يكون بس المركز، موارد كل بيجي في مركز وسلطة بيكون مركز في يد زول واحد، يعين زي ما هو داير. يعني حتى عمدة بلدية دايرين قرار، دي طبعا دي احتكار بتاع سلطة. احتكار السلطة معناه الموارد ذات بيكون محتكرة. لكن للأسف الشديد ذاته، يعني حتى النظام المركزي الموجود ده، حتى الجوبة اللي قاعدين فوقها حتى ما فوق تنمية. إذا كنا النظام المركزي يعني بننمي المركز، المفروض الجوبة ده ما يكون زي ده، ما يكون وساخة زي ده، ما يكون يعني كلها خيران، ما في شوارع زي الناس، وقال ده عاصمة فوق رأس الدولة ومطار دولي وشنو دولي، ما في أي حاجة. كويس؟ معناه نظام المركز الموجود في جنوب السودان ده بس محتكر على الناس، داير رب نفوسهم، بس داير يعمل نفوسهم يعني أغنى الناس في جنوب السودان وانتهت. النظام المركزي يا أخوي ده بيطور كويس، خصوصا الولايات المنتجة. يعني ولايات الجنوب كلهم منتجين، ما في أي ولاية، يعني حتى الولاية ما فوق ذهب، حتى الولاية ما فوق بترول، هو يكون منتج لحاجات عنين زي الواو ده، يعني الرز ده تمام منتج كويس. وبعدين لو قطع سكر وحاجات مسكنات او مانجا، حاجات ده كله مشاريع والرن هناك انت شفتها. لكن لا، هم عاملين السياسيين بس عاملين الضر، لانه يعني المشكله حقهم بس انه نحن بس نكون في سلطه ناكل حاجات البلد ده، ما نخلي اي زول ليوم الدين. لكن يوم الدين ده ما كلش عنده نهايه، ما في يوم الدين كويس، لانه ما عارفين انه النظام المركزي ده يوفر لهم حمايه، زي ما هسه قاعد يعمل لهم حمايه. يعني هسه الجيش البصير هسه قاعد يلقى اكل بسيط ده الا حراس، وبرضه ما بعد حراس، في بعض حراس انا خشوم مناشي ساكت كويس. يعني باقي العساكر دين وباقي دين كله قاعدين سهل لله. وده نظام مركزي. انا شايف نظام مركزي فشل، والتجربه المفروض الجنوبيين يفتحوا عيونهم كويس. يعني حتى عشان كده يوم ده بنتكلم في الدستور ده، لازم الحاجات الاساسيه يكون في الدستور بما فوق النظام المركزي ده كويس، لانه ده بيحدد صلاحيات الرئيس. بعدين ذلك ما بفضل يكون محتاج كرسي كويس، لان النظام المركزي بيوفر كل حقوقه. انا بقول مسؤولين يا ايمانويل، مش يشوف بس في جوبا هنا بس ياهو جنه، في نفس الوقت غير كله غبار ساكن، ما في اي كله. فاني واي لكن هل الجنوبيين بيطبقوا النظام المركز النظام الفدرالي ده؟ ما ده ياهو سؤال. ده بس منو بيطبقوا؟ ده سياسيين الحقيقيين ده ولا ناس منو؟ لا حول ولا قوه. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا لك استاذ مجوق. راديو رجع تاني واتصل علينا على ارقامنا وقدم التعليق بتاعك في موضوع بتاع النظام الفدرالي في البلاد. راديو.
يا رجل والله صباح الخير.
صباح النور.
انا
ما أعرف إنه نظام بترالي ده يكون نظام كيف لأنه
ما أنا من أول حاجة. هلو سوري فقدناك في الخط. راديو مرة تاني واتصل علينا. We continue to talk about the federalism, which is a system of government where power is divided between a central authority and also constituent political units like states or provinces. راديو
صباح الخير إيمانويل كيلو.
صباح النور. هلو راديو. الشبكة قاعد ينقطع هناك. راديو. Yes, get back to us on the same line. راديو.
راديو هلو.
نعم منو معنا؟ جون. قرن اتفضل قرن من يامبيو.
أقول شنو نانو أنا شايف ربنا حكومة بتراليا مع حكومة كل هو باكم نفسه ما باكم نفسه فرق في ناس قاعد يكون كده أنا ما فاهم الكلام ده وشغله.
alright احنا بنتكلم في موضوع بتاع النظام الفيدرالي وده فيه بيتم تقسيم بتاع السلطات يعني او حتى موضوع بتاع الريسورسز جزء من الحكومة القومية في بعض من الحاجات المسؤولة فيها وفي بعض من الحاجات اللي بيكون مسؤول فيه حكومات بتاع المستوى بتاع الولايات. راديو. حلو راديو.
الو
يس.
صباح الخير ايمانويل.
صباح النور.
مع جيمس.
جيمس تفضل.
أنا سلمت في الأكليسية أي راديو مع زملاء كله يلا بقول أي راديو كل القاسنا. إذا أنا إيمان الموضوع كان فدرال سيستم ده كان فدرال سيستم الجامع وقلي ما كلام الجول بكاسهم أنا أكيد فدرال سيستم ده ما بدال. لأن فدرال سيستم ده بودي نظام لكل زول حتى لو إذا ده معارف بتاعنا في الدولة بتاعنا الله سجل تتسامبل يا إيمان. taka zola musuli ta bindo hakita bagda kudile ta nizam alta bagda rasado ita sido aje de wen waje de ta sakal bosu e nizam ta federal system o bayinu zola aljato ku der geni sakit wala der amra mulisunu de mungkin situation de mana ta federal system why haja ma bagda remove sambala lakin de am se nizam lakin ta banana na sa dunya ma de nizam de ta ban fina sanin bi reject karan de mun kun ma der federal system dan federal system de ma gige munas لكن في دراسة ميدان ورجالي كل زول عنده حق في الدولة ده وكل زول عنده حق بيشتغل وكل زول عنده حق بقدر ياكل نصيب بتاعه لكن ما ممكن ناس نين ياكلوا وناس نين بينهم جانين ده ما نتا فدرال سيستم على تجيلكو المساكين جيت على بو فدرال سيستم عشان كل واحد بيمشي ده سيستم الكويس كان حاجة ده نرودو دولة بتاعنا ده بيمشي تمام لأنه دول تانيين على ساتا جيلكو مو تمام ده لأنه منيندو نظام منيندو مكافأة ربنا في جوا قلوب تومن لكن أنا هنا ما عندنا مكافأة ربنا لأنه تجيلكو تجي سبزول تاني جنوم جان وتا جنوم سبان أصلا إنت زول ما زالي وشكرا.
شكرا لمشاركتك. راديو. الشبكة قاعدة ننقطع هناك نواصل ونرفع المكالمات. راديو.
الو صباح الخير وانا الكيلو.
صباح النور.
مع عبد كاتور دين سانتو فواو.
دين سانتو من واو تفضل دين.
ايمان الكيلو الكلام ده انت تراه ده لسه بعيد عن العشرين. خلينا اول حاجه نتواعد شعب يكون واعي يعرف نفسه اننا شعب بتاع جنوب السودان. بعدها نوعد المسؤولين بتاعنا ونتكلم القبلية والقضية كل يوم بيجي وانت في خابة. ده كلام بعيد عننا شديد. بعد ما انت واحد جنوب السودان بقى فيه سفال بقى فيه كل شيء تمام. انا بمشي بقراعينا لعدتو تاتوري بمشي بقراع منين كرن وبعدها نقبل بعد ما في زول يقول انا من كده انا من كده. بعد كده بنقبل تاني وبعد كده ربنا بيجيب الرحمة في قلوبنا ونفكر يعطونا نطبقه. هل الفدرالية هل لا مركزية يعطونا نشوف العالم ده يعطوا عالم في الدول في العالم كله نجعت في أجادل بعد إننا بنلقى راحة لكن أسدا خلونا شوية خلونا بس نقتل بعضنا وخلونا نشجع في كلام فارغ ده هو المقصود. شكرا جزيلا.
وهذا ما بنشجعه وبنتمنى انه البلاد تكون في السلام والوئام ويكون في التعايش السلمي بين كل المجتمعات. موضوع بتاع العنف ده احنا ما بنشجعه. اي راديو.
الو
يس.
مرحبا. السلام
عليكم السلام. منو معنا؟
معك سانتو من هو.
سانتو.
يس.
تفضل.
اخي مانويل صباح الخير.
صباح النور. نعم.
كل الأنظمة الموجودة على مستوى القناة ما استخدام كعبة. المشكلة فينا نحن هنا جنوبين بصفة خاصة سواء كان شعب أو حكومة بتاعتنا. هنا كلنا في منوال واحد. بيعمل شنو؟ والشعب بالذات ما بيعرف يعمل شنو. أنا قاعد أقول إنه النظام الفدرالي كعب وما كويس في نفس الوقت ليه؟ لأنه هنا الجنوبين في وقت الراحة ما متوحدين منقسمين. هي زول قاعد الدل بتاعت القبيلة بتاعته وفي خرية بتاعت قبلية موجود في قلوبنا. وإذا كان حاليا نفذنا النظام الفدرالي تلقائيا بكون شجعنا أنفسنا للبرنامج القبلي. هنا متعجين لبعض أولا نفهم بعضنا ونعرف هنا أصلا موجودين في جنوب السودان ليش لو كان حكومة أو شعب. لأن الاثنين أصلا مع بعض. الحكومة عبارة عن وكيل شنو تاع الشعب. الشعب هم بوكلوا الحكومة عشان الحكومة يدير حاجات بتاعهم. أكثر ناس بيكون دايرين يا أخي هنا دايرين نظام فدرالي نظام فدرالي نوزع ولايات فيه موارد طبيعية وهم عارفين إنه في النظام الفدرالي في موارد مثلا قاعد يكون مش خاص بولاية موارد عامة دي بتكون شنو الدولة كله يعني اللي عمل الشعب مثل زي البترول زي الذهب يمكن معين. هنا في الوقت الراهن بالذات هنا متأكدين لأنفسنا لا أكثر من الأنظمة الموجودة سواء كان نظام الديمقراطي نظام الفدرالي وكل الأنظمة الموجودة
نعم. شكرا لك. رسالتك وصل لأن الشبكة قاعدة انقطع في النهاية. Thank you all for your contributions and also for being part of today's edition of The Dawn. We've come to the end of it. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and beyond the borders. Up next, news in Arabic with Obaj Uku Chaga. On behalf of the Dawn team, Paulina Athea, One Moses and producer Barry Johnson, this has been Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Stay safe, stay blessed. Do have a good day.